Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are jumping straight into something pretty incredible. The global resurgence of Brazilian cinema. For about 2 decades now, these stories have been breaking out of their, niche categories. They're commanding real respect at major festivals, on streaming, and in theaters all over the world. It's a huge shift in filmmaking.
It really is a cultural revolution, and if you're looking for sort of the architect of that change, the person who put a new face on Latin American identity for everyone.
You land on Wagner Moura.
You land on Wagner Moura, you know him instantly. Those intense, complex, often morally ambiguous characters he plays.
That's right. So our mission for this deep dive is to go a little beyond the usual celebrity profile. We want to analyze how Moura, as both this acclaimed actor and now an activist director.
How he became so indispensable.
Exactly. How he shaped the whole conversation around Brazil's identity, its national consciousness on the world stage.
His work isn't just acting. It's like a living map of Brazil's reality, which is, multifaceted and often pretty explosive.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. Where does that fire, that incredible intensity we see on screen, where does it come from?
Well, it's all grounded in Salvador, Bahia. That's where he was born in 1976.
Brazil's northeast.
Northeast, yeah. It's an area just defined by this vibrant culture, rich Afro-Brazilian heritage, a powerful music scene, but, and this is crucial, it's also marked by these stark social and economic contrasts.
So it's that duality.
It's that dual reality, the joy and the struggle. That's what created the complexity in his whole artistic perspective.
And it wasn't just the geography, was it? We found he originally studied journalism at the Federal University of Bahia. That feels like more than just a piece of trivia.
Oh, it's absolutely foundational. Journalism gave him a background in communication, sure, but more critically, it gave him this sharp analytical lens.
So he was trained to critique society, not just to emote.
Exactly. He uses art as a sociological tool. It's the method he uses to pick his roles, to approach them.
And his career just took off almost instantly when he teamed up with director Jose Padilha on Elite Squad.
2007.
That role, Captain Nascimento, it made him a cultural phenomenon in Brazil practically overnight.
And that rocket launch went global almost immediately. Elite Squad won the Golden Bear at the Berlin Film Festival, and the sequel.
The sequel became the highest-grossing Brazilian film of all time.
Ever.
The controversy that film stirred up is the real key here, though. Can you break down what made that unflinching examination, as they called it, so revolutionary for people in Brazil?
Well, it didn't just show corruption. It showed the rot from the inside through the eyes of the protagonist, a guy working for Rio's BOPE.
The Special Police Operations Battalion.
Right. And Moura just embodied this moral paralysis that kind of service can force on a person. He captured the psychological toll, that internal fight between duty and conscience. It sparked this massive national debate that was, previously totally suppressed in mainstream culture.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The national star then becomes this international legend, and it's almost entirely thanks to streaming.
It's the power of Narcos. When that launched in 2015, his portrayal of Pablo Escobar just completely transformed his global profile. But this wasn't just a simple casting choice.
No.
It was a huge opportunity for a Brazilian actor speaking Spanish on a global platform.
And crucially, he didn't just play some stock villain. He gave us this duckly human, terrifyingly multidimensional character.
Yeah.
He forced viewers everywhere to confront some hard truths about power and the real impact of the drug trade.
But hold on, Narcos got some criticism for glorifying Escobar, right?
It did.
So how did Moura navigate that, trying to show the human side without making him a hero?
That's the tightrope he had to walk. His commitment was always to the nuance, never the caricature. And the source material really highlights his preparation. I mean, he spent months in Medellin.
Right, in Colombia. Just to master the regional Paisa dialect, which is totally different from the Spanish he already knew. He was trying to bring an almost documentary level of authenticity to this, like you said, sensationalized figure.
And that dedication, that work, it earned him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor, putting him right up there with Hollywood's A-list.
And this really shows you a key insight into his career, his linguistic versatility. Being fluent in Portuguese, Spanish, and English lets him just navigate all these different international industries so seamlessly.
It's a huge advantage.
It's a massive advantage. It opened doors that were just completely closed to Brazilian actors who were looking for major, non-stereotypical global roles.
But Moura didn't just rest on his Narcos fame. He immediately used that new platform to pivot into directing.
And proved his focus was still on these really politically challenging stories.
His directorial debut, Mariella, in 2019. I mean, that is the ultimate political statement.
It absolutely is. It's a drama about Carlos Marighella, a revolutionary who fought Brazil's military dictatorship back in the 60s, a period the government at the time was actively trying to erase.
So he wasn't just making a movie. He was basically performing an act of historical education. What's fascinating is how he used his fame.
Exactly. The insight here is strategic defiance. He used his global stature to get funding and distribution for a film that the sitting government was actively trying to suppress.
So the opposition just made the message louder.
It amplified it. By choosing the subject, he positioned cinema as this force for, uncomfortable collective memory.
And it worked. He earned a Cannes Best Actor award for his work in the film, proving that art that challenges power can also get major critical success. He's leveraging his power for collective memory.
And we also have to talk about his incredible genre versatility. He's shown so much adaptability without ever losing that core authenticity.
Just look at his career outside of Latin American stories. He jumped into sci-fi and Elysium back in 2013 with Matt Damon.
Playing Spider, yeah. A surprisingly resourceful smuggler.
And then into the huge action thriller world of The Gray Man in 2022, playing a CIA operative.
And what these roles prove is that he isn't being pigeonholed as, the Latin American villain.
No, not at all.
He's being cast as a complex, modern, global figure who can handle that high-octane action but still keep the psychological depth he's famous for. He's the bridge.
And he doubled down again on Complex History with Wasp Network in 2019, exploring loyalty and political identity as a Cuban poet who defects.
If you look at his whole filmography, it really is like a map of Brazilian identity. It's layered, contradictory, and deeply human.
Yeah.
And contemporary Brazilian film, which is driven by him and his peers, it focuses on these uniquely Brazilian experiences: social inequality, political complexity, urban violence, but it always has a universal emotional core. They don't compromise their authenticity to be more palatable to an international audience.
His characters become these powerful vessels for social commentary. I'm thinking of his role in The Secret Agent, where he explores the paranoia and surveillance under authoritarian rule.
Right. It showed how repression warps people's minds, not just their political freedom.
That refusal to simplify things.
That's the core of the cultural revival he's driving. They brought Brazilian Portuguese, regional dialects, and local customs to the global forefront. They proved there's a real hunger for genuine, culturally specific stories that can resonate with everyone.
So what does this all mean? Wagner Moura and his contemporaries are basically ensuring Brazilian cinema is actively shaping global conversations about representation. They're challenging those traditional Hollywood-dominated narratives.
And forcing authenticity right to the front.
Exactly. I mean, the proof is that before him, Hollywood wasn't scouting Brazilian talent for huge global roles like The Gray Man.
Right.
He kicked the door down. He set a whole new standard for Latin American artists. We spent a lot of time on his acting and directing, but we should talk about the other practices that feed into that incredible intensity he has. This is a truly holistic artist.
Oh, absolutely. His artistic expression is so multifaceted. He performs with the band Suamai as a lyricist and a vocalist.
So it's another form of storytelling for him.
It's an extension of it, channeling those deep emotions that are rooted in Brazilian musical traditions.
We also noted his mindfulness practices. He uses transcendental meditation for mental clarity. Why is that specific discipline so key for what he does?
Because he has to inhabit these highly intense, often contradictory characters and switch between them rapidly. Think about going from the psychology of Captain Nascimento to the controlled conflict of a CIA operative. TM gives him the stability he needs to access those deep psychological states without completely burning out.
We can't forget the physical grounding. He trains in martial arts, Muay Thai, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And these are not just hobbies. They build the resilience and the bodily awareness you need for roles that require that level of precision and dedication. That training defines his physical presence on screen.
It gives him weight.
It lends weight and immediate believability to characters who live under constant extreme pressure.
That combination, the artistic, the mental, the physical discipline, it really defines his whole approach. It's what makes him such a transformative force.
He's a cultural ambassador. He's completely redefined what it means to be a Brazilian artist on the global stage. He built a bridge between local stories and international consciousness.
And his legacy. It goes way beyond his Golden Globe nomination. He's opened doors for so much emerging Brazilian talent.
He's proved that Latin American artists can command major roles without having to compromise their cultural identity or their political conviction.
He proved that the most specific stories are often the most universal.
That's it, exactly.
So, given Moura's commitment to using his platform to illuminate uncomfortable truths about history like with Mariella, and his use of personal practices like transcendental meditation to access character depth, consider this. How much of an actor's political commitment and personal discipline really influence the lasting cultural power of their performance?